Past our friends in the purple car, still sitting there hopefully as we have a look at the vegetables. The new open China. Days later, we make it to a meeting with former prisoner Liao Yiwu.
I wrote a poem about June the 4th called Slaughter, for which I was sentenced to prison for 4 years. When I was released, I had to support myself, so I began performing in public. Much of my work still relates to June the 4th.
Liao Yiwu was nowhere near Tiananmen Square in June '89. He heard the news of the massacre on the radio over 1,000 miles away.
Hello.
An aspiring poet, he decided to express his outrage in the best way he knew.
The poem was a protest. I was expressing my feelings of desperation. For example, there is a line, "Power often wins, but one day freedom will conquer all." Another line is, "The soldiers wiped their boots with the skirts of dead maidens." I was officially accused of being a counter-revolutionary. They put in my record that I was dangerous and aggressive.
Although Yiwu was convicted as a political prisoner, he had to serve his sentence alongside hardened criminals.
As soon as I entered the jail, some of the prisoners pushed me to the ground and I was searched everywhere. They stripped me and pinched me all over my body. They even forced me to bend over and stuck a chopstick up my arse to see if anything was hidden there. I felt like a prostitute. The last sentence in the poem is, "All the survivors of this ruthless massacre are dogs." What I meant is that those who survived had their spirits and dignity crushed. They can only live like animals.
"20 years ago, Chung Yong-fei was studying agriculture in Beijing. He witnessed the killings there and is determined they should not be forgotten. In June 2007, he placed a small advertisement in the classified section of his local paper in Chengdu.
My announcement is on page 14 of the Chengdu Evening News. It says, "Let us salute the mothers of those who died on June the 4th.
One seemingly innocuous line. That's all it took for Chung Yong-fei to feel the full might of the state.
Just after midnight, the day it was published, 7 or 8 policemen came and took me to the police station by force. I was locked up for a day and then placed under house arrest for 6 months. 3 newspaper editors were also demoted.
Even a squeak of protest is treated in the same way as a roar of dissent. People like Chung Yong-fei find themselves denied promotion, prospects or jobs. Even so, Yun-fei insists on remembering.
I just wanted to commemorate them. Why should the state interfere? Both the students and the soldiers who died were sacrificed by the system. That wouldn't happen if the system was flawless. Would a democratic country use tanks and real bullets against its own people? I don't think so.
In the last 2 decades, China has throbbed with economic progress. 270 million have been dragged out of medieval poverty. But consumer power has not brought political power to the people. Instead, there's an unspoken agreement that you can get rich while the party makes the decisions. At their annual Congress in March this year, the message was uncompromising. China would never have Western-style multi-party elections. But that's exactly what some Chinese want. Late last year, several Tiananmen survivors joined forces with other dissidents to release an online petition called Charter 08, demanding political reform and an end to corruption. The authorities responded by hunting them down, interrogating them, and locking up their leader. But the state is losing the battle to exert total control, especially over the internet. Ai Weiwei is an artist who blogs fearlessly on the internet to explain his irreverent philosophy. He was part of the team that designed Beijing's famous Bird's Nest Stadium. He resigned in protest at the way the Olympic Games were used to promote China's image, while the state still denied people political freedom.
When a state uses the sport event as a propaganda, there is a problem there. Especially this propaganda is not for bettering humans' condition. Of course, I have to criticize it. What we want is political change. We want more freedom. We want human rights. And we still have a same party who is trying to hide or blur every facts. This is a big crime to humanity. And of course, the party wants this to be continued. They want it to be continued for another 100 years. But is that possible? Today, is that possible? Do they understand what kind of world they are in now? I don't think so.